In the heart of eternity rises Rome, where empires were forged and legends still breathe. Marble whispers and sunlit domes crown a city of power and beauty, both of which will be on display today. Every street is a stage, every monument a masterpiece. This is Rome, stage 14 of the Longines Global Champions Tour, and we are on the verge of witnessing Gilles Thomas fulfill his destiny and be crowned the 2025 Longines Global Champions Tour champion. One man stands in his way, and that man is Christian Kukuc, last year's runner-up in the season. He is the only man seemingly that has a possibility of stopping the Gilles Thomas story from coming to fruition later on today. A man that has conquered Rome before, a man that arguably used this very ring in Cerco Massimo as a springboard over the last 12 months, joins us in the studio as we welcome the 2024 champion, Victor Bettendorf, to come and have a conversation with us. Champion of 2024. Victor, welcome back. Some nice memories, I assume, of 2024. Take me back to that time.
Yeah, I think it's one of my biggest memory I always keep, because it's my first five-star Grand Prix with Foxy at this amazing venue. I keep it in my head forever, I think.
Do you regard that as a breakthrough moment for you? I remember us talking 12 months ago, and you gave me information that at the time there was not a lot of travel into Europe, not a huge amount of shows. Was that truly a breakthrough moment for you that's now come over the last 12 months?
Yeah, I think so, because it's I believe it's one of the best mares in the world. She still is, and I'm the rider who produced her, so I think she made me giving a name in the equestrian world, so I'm very thankful for what she's done for me, and I still look to find the same horse again to get the same feeling, but no, it's a memory I will keep in my head forever.
What has it done for you, let's say, over the last 12 months? I mean, how much has that outcome, that result, changed your career, or the path in which your career has gone? What has it done for you over the last 12 months?
I think I proved to myself that I'm able to compete at the highest level. And now I have a string of very good horses, but they're a bit green. But now I know that I'm able to do it, and I'm a bit more comfortable with that, and I look forward to the future.
A winner of a great class yesterday, so it hasn't been a weekend that hasn't been successful for you, but unfortunately no qualification for today's LGCT Grand Prix. This is the sport. It's a difficult thing to perform in. Talk to me about what happened in qualifying. It was not the result you were looking for. I was struggling with
the horse already in Vienna. He was clear in the Grand Prix, but then I had a bit struggle for the jump off. He was a bit tense. And I think this year I made some wrong choices, because I think the horses are very green, but I wanted to keep going, doing five-star shows and being competitive. And now at the end of the season, I realized that maybe it should have been better to step back a little bit and to be a bit more patient. But that's who I am. I try to be competitive all the time. Maybe it was not the best season this year so far, but I know that I have really good horses. I just need to be patient, and it's a process everybody has to learn. We learn every weekend. This year I know I was a bit too keen to go fast all the time, so I learned my lessons, and I come back stronger next year. Learning
lessons is the vital outcome here. The course walk is officially underway. I just saw Christian Kukuc walking past us, so we're a big spotlight on him today. Gilles Thomas, we try and find him somewhere in the crowd as well. For all of these riders, the best 40 of the weekend that have qualified for today's LGCT Grand Prix. As we see Guido Grimaldi walking by as well. They are now all trying to replicate what you did in 2024. If you could stop these riders and give them some advice, what is something that you would tell these riders? How does one conquer Rome? What is the key to success when you're jumping in a ring like this?
I think when you have a good horse and you feel ready.
Foxy de la Roque.
Yeah, of course. No, but I think it's important to enjoy.
Sure.
If you don't enjoy what you do, especially in Grand Prix like that, it's always difficult. You have to be focused and try to do your best, but you have to enjoy the whole day. Working your horse in the morning, feeling comfortable, giving the horse a nice feeling, and when you enjoy, you have bigger chances to compete and to be good.
Before we let you go, give me your thoughts on the Gilles Thomas Christian Kukuc challenge. Where does it go? Does Gilles win it today? Does Koekkoek push it further? What do you think is going to happen later?
Maybe Christian gonna push it further, but at the end Gilles gonna win.
Okay, well that's interesting.
At the end of the season he's going to win because he was so good this year. It's unbelievable. I think it's nearly impossible to catch him again this year. So.
All right, a bit of a prediction.
Maybe today he's gonna stay behind, but
yeah.
Gilles going to win the season, that's for
okay,
sure.
A bold prediction then from Victor Bettendorf, our 2024 champion. That man walking the course, Gilles Thomas, he is adamant will be crowned a season champion. However, the suggestion is maybe it will not take place today. Does Christian Koekkoek deny him the championship today? But then we know there are still some stages to come. Christian Koekkoek will be going to Rabat. Both men will be going to Riyadh. So when does the title get decided? We'll have to wait and see. This is the fascinating thing about the sport as we stand by now, a few moments away from the start of the 2025 Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Roma. Thank you very much, Victor. We appreciate you. We hope to see you back here in a winner's circle once again, and we hope to see you again many more times. Victor Bettendorf, the 2024 champion in Rome, giving us some thoughts and reaction as to what to expect later on today. Now, let's move the show along. Let's let Dan Strange take us through a bit of the historical books and remind us and give us some perspective on where we find ourselves.
Welcome to Circus Maximus, the heartbeat of ancient Rome, where crowds roared in celebration of speed, courage, and sporting celebrities. Dating back to the 6th century BC, this enormous arena became the stage for the empire's most thrilling entertainment, the chariot races. Races were fast, fierce, and really dangerous. Teams were divided into reds, whites, greens, and blues. Rivalries were intense, and fortunes could be won or lost in the blink of an eye. Among the great names of the ancient circus, one name stands out: Gaius Appius Diocles. Born in the year 104 in Lusitania, which is now Portugal, he competed for 24 years with nearly 1,500 victories in over 4,000 races. Historians say that he was the highest paid athlete in history, earning a fortune that would even rival that of emperors, the chariot racer who conquered the crowds. Today, the track may have changed, but the spirit of the horse still remains. And it's here, in this ancient setting, that the Longines Global Champions Tour brings new life to an ancient arena. From chariots to show jumps, from the legends of ancient Rome to the very best riders in show jumping ready to make their own history.
That's lovely from Dan Strange. Very easy to make Rome look so beautiful. The natural beauty and the history and the culture that surrounds us here in Circo Massimo is absolutely outstanding. And because of that, we are super excited. Well, that and many reasons as to why we are so excited for today's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Rome to come. Oh, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to try and keep all of these things into perspective. To try and understand where Gilles Thomas finds himself, to try and understand where Christian Koekkoek finds himself. But before we dive too deep into that conversation, let's remind us of what took place at the previous stage as we headed back to Vienna for the first time in a long time to go on and celebrate yet another LGCT Grand Prix in Vienna. Let's remind you of what took place in stage 13.
Good evening, welcome to the Longines Global Champions Tour of Vienna 2025. We're here at the stunning Schumacher Palace. Bertram, he's built this up a relationship. He knows what he has. Here we go. Starts over fence 9. Swings left-handed. And now lands in. Here's the last fence. Oh, he has a rub. Look at the time, 42.31. That's a brilliant effort. This will be one that Bertram will be really keeping an eye on. This has such potential. Now he's coming across the angle again. 4, 5, 6. Comes up the inside, Bertram. I don't think you're going to keep it. Harry goes into the lead. Look at that, 41.96. Philip Whitehead, Kilmister. So successful in the past. Come on, keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, meets this going forward, really brave. Jumps it on a huge angle, coming to the last fence. I'm not so sure. I can't judge it. Is he quick enough? Yes, he is.
I'm absolutely speechless. What Kilmister gave today is just incredible. He wasn't actually my first pick for this Grand Prix because he's only 9 years old, but I felt already a little tired on Friday after the 116 team, and I thought, you know what, give it a shot. But what he did today for me was just incredible.
It is very easy, arguably, to describe 2025 as the season of 9-year-olds. From what Gilles Thomas has done on his young horses to now seeing Philipp Weishaupt once again win on the Longines Global Champions Tour stage like he did back in Doha in 2023. He now will return to the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix that takes place at the GC playoffs in Prague in just over a month's time, doing it yet again, this time on his 9-year-old horse. What is the impact of the Vienna stage? That's the question. What was the result on the overall rankings at the end of that Grand Prix? What is essentially the platform that we enter Rome with? Well, here are the results of what took place there and what it's done. Now, as you can see, Gilles Thomas miles ahead, 55 points clear of Christian Kuckuck. But don't be fooled, it's not a guarantee. There are things that can happen today that can stop Gilles Thomas from winning this title here today. We'll give you those numbers, we'll give you those scenarios later on. But it's Christian Kuckuck in second place, Andreas Schouw in third, Harry Smulders, a two-time LGCT Grand Prix winner this season and a former season winner, in fourth. Michael van der Vleuten, well, you remember that championship run that he and Harry Smulders had a few seasons ago. Max Kuhner, the defending champion, finds himself in 8th. And Scott Brash, what a season he's had in 2025 as well, finds himself in 7th place. What a year it's been for Scott Brash too. You can never, ever write Scott Brash off if we start thinking ahead to the GC playoffs in Prague later on this year. How dangerous will he be in that LGCT Super Grand Prix? Now, this is where we find ourselves here, Cerco Massimo in Rome for 2025. But there is arguably one story and one story alone today. It almost feels like the finals in Riyadh. This is going to be the day many believe that the championship gets decided. How does that happen? Let's break this down for you. Let's inform you as to how this looks. Gilles Thomas at 261 points, Christian Kuckuck at 206. If Gilles Thomas finishes inside the top 6 of today's class, there is nothing that Christian Kuckuck can do to deny him the championship. Christian Kuckuck can win today's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Rome, but if Gilles Thomas finishes inside the top 6, it is done and dusted. It is over. However, if Gilles finishes outside of the top 6, the ball then is firmly in the court of Christian Kuckuck, who must finish inside the top 4 to stay in the race. So that arguably is the bigger conversation to be had here. Christian Kuckuck has to finish inside the top 4 to keep the race alive. He needs to make sure that he is just outside of the podium to ensure that this Longines Global Champions Tour season does not get decided here in Rome. So we took the time to sit down with the two title contenders, with Gilles Thomas, with Christian Kuckuck. These are their thoughts ahead of today's LGCT Grand Prix.
I adore winning, but it's for me also not only about winning. There's more behind than only winning every single Grand Prix.
I was never really thinking that it would be a realistic goal.
1.67 seconds is the winning margin.
Round after round, result after result. He is by far the best one this year. He deserves this.
I think Christian is very hungry. Every round he rides is very focused. So yeah, I think if one can catch me, it's the person. Because yeah, he really fights till the end. First 3 stages to come. I only will compete in 2 of them. I think Christian will still do all 3 of them. So yeah, I think if he wins every stage from now on, then yeah, then he will pass me, but yeah, you never know, so it's still not done yet.
Gilles is so far away and has an amazing season. Even with a win in Vienna, it would be very, very difficult for me. I mean, his whole year is incredible. The effort you have to put in and the work and the passion, and yeah, I know how big of a deal it is, and it's just incredible what he delivers.
Yeah, I think I had a very good season. In the beginning of the season, I got actually quite early the armband from leading rider. Okay, I'm also realistic. Sometimes with the horses can go quick one way, but like me at the moment, I have 4 or 5 Grand Prix horses, and like Chiara and Calista are only 9. Hermitage is also 11, so normally I still can have them a few more years in good shape. So yeah, the future is looking very nice. And then after Rome, I have to make a plan which horses I will take to Riyadh and which horses I maybe still do a small indoor show before Prague, because I think in Prague we also all want to perform very, very good.
It will be very, very difficult to beat them. That championship thing doesn't really change anything in terms of planning the next week. I will still go to Rabat next week, and I will still try to win the Grand Prix, but I'm doing that every week.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Okay, my horse, I think they are both in very good shape, but yeah, we will see. But if it happens, then it would, yeah, a little dream that come true. Oh, I think, yeah, in every sport, like the people that are watching, they always like a battle. So I also hope for him that he does well here, that we still can have a fight till Riyadh.
It couldn't be more motivation for next year. I mean, I finished last year second. Proves consistently. It's not only about winning a Grand Prix somewhere once in a while. It's about really delivering consistent work and results over 16 shows. If I'm finished this year again second, I have to be very honest, that's actually a great sign and a great result. To finish 2 years in a row, second place in the overall, that's honestly not too bad. But of course, I would like to move one step up and win the overall.
Quite amazing, what a podium. And what top sport we have witnessed here this afternoon.
And that is the scenario, folks. Second place in Shanghai, first in Paris, first in New York, third in Valkenswaard, along with a few other results. That is the kind of season that is a championship winning season. That's exactly why Gilles Thomas now finds himself at the top of the standings with a very, very big cushion to fall upon. Take nothing away, though, from Christian Kuckuck, who fell second to Max Kuhne last year. How much a season like this drains a rider, drains a stable, is very difficult to quantify. So much time, so much energy is required. And for Kuckuck to repeat that in 2024 and now in 2025, it shows the amount of firepower, the will and drive that Kuckuck has, even if he does not stop Gilles Thomas today or throughout the season. Yet another performance like this from Christian Kuckuck signifies just how and why he is one of the best in the sport to do what he does. Let's bring Dan Strange into the show to speak to us about this. Dan, welcome in. We're talking about this championship race. We're talking about Gilles Thomas versus Christian Kuckuck. And while all eyes fall on Gilles Thomas as to whether or not he goes on to win today, I think the numbers almost suggest that arguably this is more about Christian Kuckuck, who's trying to deny Gilles Thomas from winning today. Am I reading that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a wide open race, but it's a fabulous race all the same. Of course, Gilles Thomas, 261 points. He won in New York, he won in Paris, he's on Calista, this sensational 9-year-old. He's aiming actually for his 10th ever podium in the Longines Global Champions Tour, in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. If he wins today, or if he wins in Riyadh, he would be the youngest ever Longines Global Champions Tour champion. Scott Brash would be relinquishing that crown. Gilles Thomas would be taking it now. Christian Kuckuck in second, 187 points overall, 74 points behind. His only win of the season was, of course, in London. He's chasing his 8th LGCT Grand Prix podium ever. But don't forget, he has to be in the top 4 to make sure that the race keeps going. And of course, Gilles Thomas only has to finish in the top 6 to confirm his place as the Longines Global Champions Tour champion of 2025. Now, don't forget, of course, for Christian, he jumps 17th. For Gilles Thomas, he jumps 26th. So those are the 2 times, those are 2 numbers to look out for. Both have a golden ticket to the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix, which will take place at the GC Playoffs in Prague in November. So both will be there going for that prize. But the prize of the Longines Global Champions Tour Championship is on the line today. And the pressure, as you say, Mark, is on Christian Kukuc and Checker 47 to keep the race alive.
Dan, a follow-up for you before I let you go, because we need to be very sure of this and we need to make it very clear. The reason why I say that this surely falls on the shoulders more of Kukuc than it does of Thomas. We say, for Christian Kukuc, you mentioned the magical number of top 4. Are you saying that if Christian Kukuc finishes 5th or lower, Gilles Thomas has the opportunity to finish anywhere on today's table and still he'll be crowned champion? Is that correct?
Now, that's a question of momentum, Mark, and me and Nuno are going to keep moving because we've got to get out the arena. The question of momentum is, if Christian Kukuc finishes outside the top 5, Gilles Thomas has won. Equally, that's the overall championship. Equally, if Gilles Thomas is inside the top 6, it's game, set and match. It's the jumping over for the Longines Global Champions Tour Championship for this season. But don't forget, of course, the race is then on, and the thoughts then turn to the GC Playoffs in Prague, where the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix will take place. Both will be there. But yes, Mark, you're right. If Christian Kukuc's outside the top 5, as we have to exit the arena, he would exit the race.
Right, Dan Strange, thank you very much. We'll let you move out of the military's way. That's the last group that we want you to accidentally get stuck in. Let's talk about the previous winners of Rome, as in fact we celebrate our 10th visit to Rome on the Longines Global Champions Tour. Now, don't be misguided by seeing 10 champions there. If you recall, post-COVID, there were 2 back-to-back stages that took place here in Rome, hence the Olivier Robert and Marlon Bayer-Johnson winners in 2021. But with both of those taking place in the same year, this is still technically our 10th visit to Rome. Rolf Gordon Benson getting us started back in 2015. Harry Smolders, we spoke about him earlier on, a former LGCT champion. Evelina Tovak and back-to-back wins for Ben Mayer. Christian Kukuc, the man firmly in the spotlight today, winning in 2022. Henrik von Eckermann, the undeniable Henrik von Eckermann, winning in 2023. And as you saw earlier on this afternoon, to open up the show, the 2024 champion in Victor Bettendorf. The question now is, who joins that list? Who goes on to put their face, their profile on that 2025 card as we look back at the previous winners of the LGCT here in Rome? Interestingly, on that list, and that is a who's who of the world of show jumping. And without a doubt, the who's who of show jumping have been riding the who's who of show jumping horses. We decided to walk around Cerco Massimo and ask some folks if they were to select their dream horse from that list, who would they ride?
After a decade of Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here in Rome, we thought we'd ask the riders if they could add any of the equine superstars that have won this Grand Prix to their stable, which one would it be?
Well, there are a few options.
I would say Chanum and Diana.
Foxy de la Roque.
Explosion.
It would be
my favorite horse.
But I would go for
Foxy de la Roque, yeah, for sure.
It jumped amazing here last year.
I think Explosion.
Foxy.
Explosion.
Yeah, the winner from last year, Foxy de la Roque. This horse is unbelievable.
It's an incredible horse.
I just love the attitude on the mare. And
because I saw de la Roque, it helped me to decide.
The thoughts from some of the riders in and around Cerco Massimo here in 2025. Explosion coming up a lot. Foxy de la Roque coming up a lot. The winner last year was Victor Bettendorf. H&M Indiana coming into the mix as well, reflecting on the 2021 win of Malin Bayer-Jonsson. But there's loads of entertainment that's happening throughout the day today and lots of reaction to what's taking place in the course as well. We spoke to Dan Strange earlier on about that top challenge battle, how and why Gilles Thomas and Christian Kuckuck are going head-to-head today. But let's get some thoughts and some reaction. I believe Max Kuhne, in fact, standing by. Dan Strange, let's get some reaction.
The 2024 Longines Global Champions Tour champion is with me. Max, you've walked the course. As ever, it's a big course. What do you think of what Uliano Vetsani is set today?
Typical GCT Grand Prix course. When I walk it, I expect some clear rounds, but okay, we are not the professional, it's Uliano. Especially the last line, it's short 4 to the plank and then short 8, or most will do probably open 7 to the last one. So yeah, some big fences into it.
A lovely addition down that final line is the public are sort of milling around in the background. There's a lot of children in the future champions area. How much, obviously your horses are very focused, but we saw, for example, Checker 47 in Vienna get distracted. How much does that sort of movement around distract the horses potentially?
This really depends on the horse. Yeah. Each horse is very different. Usually my horse, Electric Blue, is quite focused on the course. He is old professional guy. He knows his job. So it's a bit warm here, a lot warmer than at home at the moment. His coat is a little bit thick. We will see if he's fresh enough. But this is not my issue today, I think.
It looks likely that we may well confirm Gilles Thomas as the Longines Global Champions Tour champion, taking over your crown from last year. Just a comment on his season and that of Christian Kuckuck.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic season for him. Very consistent, a lot of good results. Deserved champion, I would say. Okay, we wait till it's done, but yeah, I think it's a deserved champion.
Max, thank you so much for your time. I know you need to go and get on. Thank you. Mark, back over to you in the studio.
Wise words from Max Kuhne, not getting ahead of himself just yet and realizing that work still needs to be done today. That Max Kuhne, who hands over that crown, arguably, to one of those two men, whether it be to Gilles Thomas later on tonight, to Gilles Thomas by the end of the season. Is there a late run from Christian Kuckuck that somehow denies what seems to be the inevitable of Gilles Thomas? We'll have to wait and see. A little bit of local flavor, local culture taking place inside the arena now as we get closer and closer to the start of today's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. In fact, it's starting to come to a close as the military just behind me start to exit the Revocazione Storica Caprilli, I believe, having just wrapped up. Local fans having appreciated some of that, so that's really nice to see. We talk about what's happening in the local stages here in Rome. We also get some more reaction from some of the riders too. I remind you that we still have 3 golden tickets to give out for the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix that takes place in Prague, with stages here tonight in Rome, but then we still follow up with a few more as well. And we will show you exactly where we head to, because the turnaround time is very, very quick this time of the season. It almost feels like there is event after event after event, because from here, in a couple of days' time, we will head to Rabat as we return to Morocco as we did back in 2024. And then after that, one final opportunity for riders to collect their Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix golden ticket, and that will take place in Riyadh towards the end of October in the first week of November. More reaction from some of the riders as well. Clara Pizzoli, I believe, chatting to Dan Strange. Let's get her thoughts on what's coming up today.
We're here with Clara Pizzoli. Clara, it's been a huge weekend for you. You had a fabulous time on Friday. You've really been working hard. How excited are you ahead of this Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix?
I'm so excited because it's my first 5-star Grand Prix here at home, so in Italy, and it's a very. I'm so happy and grateful for this opportunity, and so happy for my horses, and yes,
Francesco, your coach, your trainer, is always quite animated with you. What's he said to you today during the course walk?
He's very strong. He's very strong with me. Yes, he's very serious, and he explains all the part about the arena, and so I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. So yes.
What does it mean as an Italian to ride in front of the passionate Italian fans? Does it add anxiety or does it add excitement to you?
It's difficult, absolutely. I have to say the truth, but I think that I will do my best. I will do my best.
And in terms of the course that's been set, obviously we know the last line is very difficult, but your view is, for you, 7 into the triple combination 8 is more testing.
Yes, the middle part about the course is difficult for me because I think that I could be a little bit tired after the number 6, and so the triple is tough. It's tough, yes.
You ride 22nd on Fantasia. How do you think the course will suit her overall?
I think that Fantasia is good for her. Is a good course, absolutely.
Clara, good luck today.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Mark, back over to you in the studio.
So, two major storylines to come out of today. One is going to be a Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix winner of Rome in 2025. Someone that books their spot into the LGCT Super Grand Prix later on this year. However, the other, and arguably slightly bigger story, is that of a championship deciding Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. It is Gilles Thomas versus Christian Kuckuck. Christian Kuckuck versus Gilles Thomas. Does the German deny the Belgian? Does the Belgian win and be crowned champion by the end of the night? That is the fascinating story that we are standing by for here today. Welcome to Cerco Massimo and welcome to the 2025 Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Rome. That is next.
Welcome to Rome, to the Circus Maximus for the latest stop on the Longines Global Champions Tour. It's Grand Prix Day in the heart of the Eternal City. This venue quite spectacular, surrounded by so many landmark buildings and so much history in this one venue alone. Sporting history over the centuries as we arrive at the Circus Maximus here in the heart of the city for what should be a gladiatorial day of sport here at the Circus Maximus under near perfect conditions. 24 degrees, it's slightly cloudy now, but really no complaints for an October afternoon here in Rome. And an expectant crowd looking forward to the action here, because this day could provide one or two landmark moments for some of the competitors taking here, in particular one, and I refer to Gilles Thomas, who's been outstanding all this year and has put himself right at the top of the standings and could achieve quite a landmark moment later on. But it's not going to be easy, because if he wants to make history, he's going to have to produce another stunning performance with his outstanding 9-year-old. But it really should provide a competitive afternoon and compelling afternoon. But the last two winners failed to qualify. Henrik von Eckermann and Victor Bettendorf didn't have a good day on Friday, hence the reason they're not taking part. Martin Beyer-Johnson and Ben Mayer are not here this week, but we still have an incredibly strong lineup of regular winners on the Longines Global Champions Tour, and they will be hoping to get the trophy here in Rome, as I say, as we come to 14 legs out of 16. Rabat and Riyadh still to go before the finals in Prague. Well, the final preparations being made to the course that has been designed by Giuliano Vezzano. And here's the current standings with Gilles Thomas sitting atop and Christian Kuckuck. They're both here. Harry Schmolders has won twice. He's looking for a third, but Gilles Thomas and Christian Kuckuck got title aspirations on their mind. Other riders here: Peter Devers, Dennis Lintz, Nadja Peter-Steiner, Sophie Hinners, Emmanuel Camili, all in action here, all looking to move up the table with strong performances here this afternoon. So looking at that lineup and the table, all to play for as we look back over the city. But settling in is this very knowledgeable crowd, and this is what they will be jumping, the 40 starters, as we kick off with what should be a routine fence. But looking at the course, it's free-flowing, but lots of related distances, which might be the thing that catches out. Starts with a fairly routine 150 height to begin with, and then moving on to the next, again a bit of a spread, 150. So just easing the competitors into round. Then there's that roll back to what is the first big test, 160 spread there. Coming to another upright, that's 160. And then this could be a trippy one, this wall down by the side of the arena at 160, that turn back. Then there's a related distance to fence number 6 with a 160 spread. That's fence 6. Then turning back to 7, again 153 and a 160 spread. And then to the heading towards next the combination, which starts with a 155 upright, then a 153 one stride to the 153 and 160 spread. So that'll take some jumping, and then you've got 2 strides, and you've got to keep the momentum going here. This is 8C, and that is set at 160, this Longines combination. After that, it's a turn to the right, coming back to Liverpool by the big screen, and then this upright, Liverpool at 160. Again, a gallop on to number 10, which again has a 153 and a 160 spread. Turning back round now to the double as we come to the end of the round. This is at 153 and 160, so again, there's going to be lots of questions asked here as competitors come to the end of their round. This second part with that 1 stride 160, and then it's 4 strides to the coin fence, the Roman coins fence, and this is set at 160. And then it's on to the final fence, number 13, 16 jumping efforts, and this is again a big examination at the end, 153 with a 160 spread. So not much let up in terms of the demand that every fence has been positioned by our course designer here, Giuliano Vezzano, and it's going to take some jumping, you can rest assured. But here is the starting order, and looking at some of those early on, well, Max Kuhner, an Electric Blue, the top horse of his. Some of the others, Thibaut Philipparts, went well in New York. Harry Schmolders and Monaco, searching for their 3rd win this year on the Tour. So, and Christian Kuckuck and his brilliant checker, determined to put in an excellent result here because it keeps his title aspirations alive. That's number 17, won't want to miss that round. Basim Mohammed's been in good form of late, but the man they've all got to try and stop coming away with the title is Gilles Thomas on his sensational 9-year-old Callista. And then looking at the final group of riders, Emmanuel Camili, out to delight this Roman crowd with success here, winner in Mexico, but plenty of chances for the Italians to come away with the spoils here in the heart of the Italian capital. So we're in, without question, for a gladiatorial afternoon of sport here. No quarter given, no quarter asked, so it will be intense, and big prizes at stake for all competitors, all 40. Can they also, if they haven't won this year, they can get the golden ticket to the finals, of which there are 5 here who have secured their berth. So will be others looking, who are the riders here. Christian Kukuc, Gilles Thomas, Emmanuel Camelia, Harry Schmolders and Thibaut Philipparts are all the ones who've guaranteed. We've got former winners of the LGCT Championship, Max Kuhner, Edwina Tops, Alexander and Harry Schmolders. So much to look forward to over the next couple of hours or so. So stick with us as we begin the action here in this quite magnificent arena. And to begin, it is Lara Triba from France on her 10-year-old mare Catania. Went well in Shanghai on a different horse, did the young rider, but here's a chance to shine, qualifying as the lowest rank. 40 come through. She just finished out that with a couple of pull-outs. She's got her place in the lineup. But we're off and running then here at the Longines Global Champions Tour here in Rome for the Grand Prix. And let's get a taste to see how this goes. Mentioned the first 2 fences, sort of sighters really, but still needs to be jumped accurately and get into a rhythm. Turning back to 3, which is the first real test, and takes that easily enough. 80 seconds is the time allowed. Now the turn back to the wall up against the hospitality boxes. Pops that. And to 6, and that has come down. So 155 and 160, quite a test going down that side of the arena. Turning back now to 7. Coming through the combination and gets it wrong into the first, but and again coming out of it. So the just maybe a little bit of a struggle for Catania. Laboured over that one. And so the 4 fences down for Lara Triba, and then she decides.
These are live images of the underway 2025 Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here of Rome. Next to come into the ring, the Italian crowd will tell you that it's a local rider as Nico Lupino and Iniesta enter. We are on a journey to find the 2025 season champion. It is Gilles Thomas versus Christian Kukuc, and you can see it all here live in Cerco Massimo. If you want to come and do so, sign up for a GCTV Live Pass and come watch stage 14 of the Longines Global Champions Tour here in Rome.